Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray and all my haste and everything. And having, it's been a while since we've had guests in the studio, and me and Shelby have been going solo for about a year and a half. And then I actually had a mental block there. And I forgot my co-host is on the line. He was very quiet. He was very silent, doing his job. But he's every third Saturday. We know who that person is. He has the FM voice, and he's normally here in the old days. But we haven't figured out a way to get him over here from Marion, Arkansas. But it is Frank Barton is with us. Hey, Frank, sorry I missed you on that first segment, buddy, but we'll bring you in now, okay?
That's fine. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everyone. I was just sitting back and listening.
And you are. Tell everybody what you're doing this morning.
I'm doing what I normally do on Saturday mornings, and that's training dogs.
Yes.
I'm out here. I'm in here at Crowley's Ridge, just outside of Wynne, Arkansas today, training.
And you got both dogs, two dogs? What do you got out there with you?
I have Goose and Hershey with me this morning.
And how's Goose doing?
Goose is at first setup. He did okay.
Okay.
We'll see how he does the rest of the. We try and run as much as we can before this heat runs us out. But
yep. Well,
he's doing okay.
That's why it's early and everything. Well, I know that Frank is on the line and the studio guests are here, and it's time. Now we're going to break Mike Parker in. We're going to break in Robbie. Well, he's been broken in before. So let's talk summertime crappie. So. You guys were talking earlier about a lot of people think you only catch crappie in spring and fall. That's the perception by most people. Now, you've already let the cat out of the bag that earlier this week that you guys went fishing. Robbie put his anchor down, and somehow you got him into your boat, Mike. That would have been – I'd like to have seen that, and everything. You had your chance, Mike, to really get
I thought he was going to do the splits there for
a
minute.
That's what I want to know. So let's talk about summertime crappie fishing as Frank Barton and I listen in. You guys, the perception commonly is, Robbie, that most people think, well, I'm only going to crappie fish in the spring and the fall. So what's the difference for you guys at this time of the year?
Well, there's so many different techniques for crappie fishing, Larry. You can catch crappie year-round now. Mike and I fish for them in the spring and in the summer and the winter and the fall.
Yeah.
Last winter, we spent most of the winter on Enid. Caught just a bunch of fish. And Mike's moved into the live scoping now, and I'm trying to get my feet wet with him. I was pushing minnows yesterday, catching a few good fish, and he had his limit, so I got over in the boat with him and just anchored mine out there in the lake. And we came home with, I'd say, 20, 25 just really nice fish.
Yeah.
And, of course, it got to be nice fish to catch them. But, you can catch crappie just year-round, and we gave up. I gave up hunting for the most part. Now, Mike's still a big waterfowl hunter. And but hey, you catch fish year-round.
But the perception, Mike, is most people think spring and fall.
Yeah, they kind of look at it like a dove hunt. You're going to go opening day, and it's about over.
That's it.
And they look at the spring of the year because everybody wants to fish around a stick or a bush or something.
Yeah,
And this year's been a little different because we've had so much rain. I mean, we've had in our Mississippi reservoirs, we had anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain come about a month ago.
Yes,
and the lakes jumped 10 feet in a matter of a few days. Which really changed it and let people fish the brush a lot longer than what they've been able to. But now they're starting to fall. They're opening up the spillways, and the fish are moving out, so they're out in the open. And that's where the
open. So I mean, yeah.
And that's when the trollers and the spider fishermen, spider rig fishermen pushing minnows, pushing jigs, and even the live scopers have a better chance at them. You get them out in the open, you can get after them.
All right, explain what equipment you're using right now.
Well, right now I'm using a single pole with two jigs on it, and the fish are down deeper now. I'm catching them anywhere from 10 to 18 foot deep is where they seem to be staying.
Okay.
And I'm fishing anywhere from 15 to 25 foot of water.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fish are suspended.
Yeah.
Live scoping's different than the others. I mean, you're fishing with a single jig, or I'm fishing 2 jigs, but for weight. But you're looking, targeting one fish at a time, one pole,
Amazing.
putting it on him. Where the trollers are out there, they got 8 rods on the front and 2 baits on each one. They're pushing 16 baits down the lake.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference.
I think, Frank, as you listen in on this, how many, what they're targeting, I kind of think when they're going to come up with a live scope for retriever handling, they're going to have you handling 4 dogs at one time. I kind of pictures that is when it's coming to this thing now that we can actually target fish. Did you hear him say that, Frank?
I did.
Target a
Target
fish.
fish.
Yeah, target fish.
I tell you what, I'm an old time hunter, and this is more like hunting than it is like fishing. You want to know the truth.
Hear that? Now, this Frank is a big waterfowl hunter, and
Yeah.
and that's he hunts over in East Arkansas and things like that, and he targets ducks.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I have a hunting club in Tallahatchie County, Mississippi. And
There you go. Yeah.
So we do the same thing, but
you never thought you would come when you started. I mean, crappie fishing, bass fishing continues to evolve with all the different crankbaits and they going up in price and everything like that. But crappie fishing was always the man's, I would think man of the earth. I don't know what it is, but now crappie fishing has become so much more technically involved than it used to be.
You could still catch them anyway. There's still people out there with a 15-foot John boat and a scull and paddle and a single pole jigging around trees and catching limits of fish.
And watching you go by with live scope.
Yeah, you can still catch them anyway. They're still out there. This is probably the most abundant fish in the lake. If you're
it
out
is,
there
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're most prolific for sure.
And this time of the year, Robbie, I mean. Okay, y'all got to get some secrets away a little bit here. If you had to pick a lake or summertime crappie fishing, where would it be? I'm not talking about any locations, but you were at Arcabutna. You've already said that. But any of the 4 different in the summertime?
They're all good at different times. I mean, I fish all of them, and I'll move around from one to the other, whichever one I think is going to be better.
So where?
The crappie, Larry, will move from spawning grounds back to deep water, and we just follow them. But let me tell you one of the things that Mike and I do. We're in just a little, if you will, a circuit of fishermen.
Yeah.
And we watch each other on the computer, and we talk to each other. We share with each other where we're going, how deep, what, everything. And we don't just go down there blind. Mm-hmm. And so I have a friend that still works for FedEx, and he was off today, and I shared a few secrets with him, and he's catching fish as we speak right now. He's down there in that spot catching fish. But see, you have to have a group of guys you follow and help each other out. You know?
You trust.
And you trust.
Yeah.
And you can't put all your business out on Facebook. It won't work.
No, but you can. Your group that you trust in.
Sure.
That you're down there. So where? So what's your favorite?
I guess
wherever you are.
Well, I was raised in the countryside of Mississippi, not far from Sardis, and I hear Mark Rose oftentimes talk about his home lake.
Yeah.
If you asked me what my home lake would be, it'd be Sardis. That's not a stump down there I hadn't fished the bark off of.
All right.
And I'm 70 years old. Not boasting or anything. I just love to fish.
Well, wait now. Well, let's let Mike throw in here now.
Okay.
Which one?
Well, I mean, I grew up on Sardis, spent just about every weekend down there and fished every time I was down there. So, I fished Sardis a lot, but right now I'm more mobile. Before I was fishing in a pontoon boat trolling. You're just not mobile. Now I'm fishing in a bass boat and can be at any lake from where I keep my boat in 30 minutes. So if I had to pick a favorite, quite honestly, I feel more consistent on Enid than any lake I go to.
Okay, of course.
But I mean, right now, like I said, we're fishing Arcabutna. I was fishing in the spring. I fished Sardis for months. So it's just
we're really blessed to be able to have these 4
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, to be in this area.
They're the best crappie lakes in the United States.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Hands down. Of course, if we get into the river systems, we know we can catch fish in Pickwick and the Tennessee River and Kentucky Lake, but we're talking about these reservoirs. And so you mentioned Enid. Of course, that world record came out of Enid. I think there's another fish somewhere in one of these 4 reservoirs that's going to top. I don't know if there's a 6-pounder out there or not, but I would love to see it and not be photoshopped. So,
well, I said for years the next record to come out of Arcabutler, but now I'm thinking it might be Grenada.
Well, a lot of people have said that.
There was a lot of 3-pound fish caught at Grenada this year.
Yeah, 3-pound fish. I correlate that as two 1.5-pounders. I mean, you break it down and look and see that. But I know. So if you had your pick, is it duck hunting or is it crappie fishing?
Depends on what time of year it is. Depends on if the ducks are flying.
You hear what he's saying, Frank?
I understand and I recognize that sentiment completely.
And you recognize that sentiment. There's sometimes you have to just get off the water and get your duck blind ready too, Mike.
That's right. That's right.
And then Robbie can take over and let him catch all the fish right there. Unless you get him a duck blind, I want the picture of that, okay?
We might get him in one.
Okay. All right. Maybe if you do a lot of cooking. I mean.
We do.
That has a lot to do with it. All right. Hey, Frank, now, before we cut on this segment, so are you? What's the next thing up for you? Are you heading to a trial?
Not right now. We're just training and trying to keep the dogs as sharp as we can in this heat. And then once it starts cooling off, we'll start getting into and the more heavier training and getting ready for the Master National event in early October up in McCall, Idaho.
Yeah, what's the number on that yet? How many dogs you got for that?
Right now, as of yesterday, we were 1,040, and I think by the end of the month, we'll be at around 1,300.
You believe that? This man keeps up with all them 1,300 dogs too. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to keep Mike and Robbie in the studio as long as they want to. It's nice and cool in here. There's no point getting out. It's early on Saturday morning because I can't wait to roll off these names that know a lot about crappie fishing. So we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.